Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Britannia here with another video. Here we're going to talk about the third installment in a trilogy of movies. I think it's a trilogy. I don't think there are any other sequels that are coming out after this one. But yeah, so a trilogy of movies, To All the Boys. So I haven't reviewed the other To All the Boys movies before because I didn't have a channel when those movies came out, or I wasn't doing any like movie reaction and review content when my channel was up and when those movies came out. So I will only be doing the third one. I think it's been so much time now between the first and the second with the third one, as well as like so many people have done the first and second that there's really no need for me to like cover them, right? So yeah, so unless I got like a lot of comments or a lot of pressure to review those first two, I don't really see the need. I feel like they've been done to death, as well as movies like Sierra Burgess or that one other Noah Centineo movie with There's an App that was horrible, and like stuff like that just like been done to death virally throughout YouTube. I feel like there's no need for me to go backwards with those. So moving forward, I think the movie was kind of boring. There, I said it. Like, I think this movie is like the really boring sister in the family. Honestly, I don't think there's anything really wrong with this movie. I just have to say that the movie in general is just, it fell flat. It fell flat, especially in comparison to the first movie. But that is just a thing with movies often enough that you don't really see successful or sequels that are as good as the original first movie in the installment of or the series. So this movie did that. It was just so incredibly boring. Like, I didn't mind it that much, but my boyfriend literally wanted to saw his head off. He did not want to watch this movie. It was so hard trying to get him to watch the whole thing. He kind of like semi-complained throughout it, or just like rolled his eyes and stuff. And he had some valid points. When I was watching this as well, I kind of felt that it was grating. It was going on too long. There was nothing really going on. There was no developments in the movie. Whenever the movie had built tension between Lara Jean and Peter, the tension was like quickly dashed away. So it made me feel like, what was the purpose of that tension in the first place? And it was just like, the conflict was so silly and petty. I didn't care. Like, the movie really didn't make me care about anything. At least not the two main characters. Like, the first issue of the conflict was that, okay, Lara Jean didn't get to Stanford. And like every other rom-com, she accidentally does something that may cause tension later on. She texts Noah by mistake, "Oh, of course, I love you," when he asks her if she gets in. Now, that was a mistake. She meant to text her sister that, and she texted Peter that. So like, we had this kind of like, what was it, like the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, us just like waiting for her to tell Peter that she didn't get in. So I thought, okay, this is going to be the main conflict of the movie. Lara Jean is basically lying to Peter because she had a chance to tell him the truth, and like she hasn't taken her chance and she didn't tell him the truth. Okay, I thought that was going to be a conflict. Oh, Lara Jean, why would you lie to me? You don't trust me, da da da. But like, when she told Peter the truth, in 5 seconds he just was like, "Oh, that doesn't matter, are you okay?" Which is good. Like, that's kind of what he should do, kind of, because she did lie. She kept that lie going for a bit, but obviously it was because she felt pressured and she felt insecure. So like, he was really understanding of that, and sometimes you need that in an argument, instead of like maybe pointing out what that person did wrong, maybe understand why they did that thing wrong and be like, "Oh, are you okay?" So it was kind of a good boyfriend moment from Peter, but that's kind of squashed the conflict that we waited like 20 to 30 minutes for, waiting for like Lara Jean and Peter to have this fight about her not getting in, or like, what is the game plan? And it just went away. It literally just went away. It was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go to Berkeley, it's an hour away, no, we'll be fine." Cool, right? So we didn't have any conflict for a while. And then they go to New York. And then we had all those long unnecessary montages. So they go to New York, and Lara Jean just so happens to fall in love in New York City, and now she wants to go to NYU. And we kind of saw this coming as soon as like the first conflict dissipated, because in the beginning of the movie they mentioned NYU and like the potentiality of Lara Jean going to NYU, and she's like, "Oh, she just applied because her sister told her to," kind of thing. So now they've gone to the New York trip and she's fallen in love with New York. Now she wants to go to NYU, and she doesn't know how to tell Peter that she wants to go to NYU. So now we have a new conflict that's basically the same conflict. Like what is Peter's reaction to our college plans going to be, kind of thing. And he pretends to be okay with it at first when Laura Jean first tells him that she wants to go to NYU. And then later on in the movie, we kind of see that no, he really wasn't okay with it. Like, he was just putting on a brave face because he didn't want to mess up the relationship. But he feels some type of way. They have a little fight about Laura Jean kind of acting as if she's getting ready or preparing herself emotionally for when they like disembark from each other and they distance themselves, because she's going to NYU and he's going to Stanford, which is in Cali, two opposite ends of the United States. And then they have this little fight for like, I don't know, like a couple of scenes. Like the fight barely occurred, and then at the end they're like, oh, you know, it's silly for us to be apart, you know, we'll make this work and we love each other. Duh, enough movie. And like basically those were the only tensions and conflicts of the movie. And first of all, I feel like why were these conflicts even there? I don't know. The conflicts were lame, they felt petty, and if anything at all, it kind of made me feel like it was kind of Laura Jean's fault. Now, hear me out. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I am not saying that Laura Jean does not have the right to change her mind about her future plans and college decisions. College is a very big decision, you know, for a lot of people, especially where you want to go, especially like if you're American, because like the price variances for certain colleges, especially Ivy League schools, it's high. Ivy League schools, that's a lot of tuition money. So if NYU costs a little more, or Stanford costs a little more, Berkeley costs a little more, those are things you have to put into perspective, as well as those cities. Those are major cities. They're also hella expensive. Like living in New York is definitely more expensive than living in San Fran, which is where Stanford is, or I think Berkeley as well is in that area too. But like living in California, those are also other things you have to think about when you're choosing college. You have to think about what is your major like for that particular school. So NYU tends to be a bit more artsy. Laura Jean is thinking about studying English Lit, so maybe her major would stand out more from NYU than it would Berkeley or Stanford. Like, these are things you have to think about. But my issue is that we never saw Laura Jean think about any of those things. Like, Laura Jean, are you kidding me? If I was Peter, I would kind of be upset too, because this New York thing comes out of left field for him. Like, it seems like this is something they've been talking about for a while. So if me and my partner were talking about future decisions that we want to make together for a while now, and all of a sudden he changes his mind, like, I'd be kind of upset that he changed his mind, because we know we went through the trouble of talking about this first. So how could you all of a sudden change your mind? I have to understand that it's his future at the end of the day, so he has the right to change his mind. But also, what did you change your mind for? Like, if it was something for a reason which I could understand, it would help me take in that information. But like, Laura Jean doesn't even want to go to NYU for any real real significant reason. She just fell in love with the city, and now she just wants to be in the city. Like all those other things I talked about before, like tuition, pricing of location, how that college or university looks regarding to your major, like those are none of the reasons to why Laura Jean wants to go to NYU. It's just because she fell in love with New York City. You know who also falls in love with New York City? Absolutely everybody. Everyone loves the idea of being in New York, being in Paris, being in LA. Like, those are cities, being in London, like those are cities everyone has fallen in love with. Like, it seems such like a flimsy and petty and quick thing that Laura Jean has clinged on to make her want to all of a sudden to go to NYU. Like Laura Jean has never talked about New York before. Like, how do you all of a sudden just fall in love with the prospect of being in New York City? You never talked about it with Peter before. We've never seen you talk about it. We've never seen you talk about you wanting to live in a big city. We've never seen you talk about you liking the idea of having a city life or any of those things. And also, you never even visited San Fran, or we didn't see you visit San Fran or the campus of Stanford or Berkeley. Like, you also don't know if you could have fallen in love with it either. You didn't give anything a fair or equal shot. You're just like making these quick decisions about your future. And I'm just like, if I was Peter, I would kind of take a step back and be like, Laura Jean, I can understand if you don't think that Stanford or Berkeley is the college for you, but what makes New York the college for you? Literally just the city? Like, I would question a partner who's not putting any real forethought into anything they're doing, because it looks like Peter has been thinking about Stanford for a while, and that's why Laura Jean quickly just agreed to go to Stanford with him, because his choice has been more solidified than her. So of course she kind of catered around him because she doesn't know what the hell she wants. So I don't know, for me it's like, for you to just like change plans like that for something it doesn't even seem like you really thought about would hurt my feelings as well. So I feel like Peter was kind of right when his feelings was hurt about Laura Jean just picking New York out of the blue. It kind of just makes the whole conflict feel so petty when we don't see that Laura Jean even really seems like she cares about college or university. I feel like I would have been more happy if like Laura Jean deferred with her friend. Like, I feel like that would have been a better kind of like ending to that, or maybe a better conflict. Laura Jean figures out that, you know, like, I've just been going along with your plans this whole time because I have no real plan or ambition of my own. So I think instead of wasting my dad's good money, the best thing for me to do is to defer for a year and figure out what college I really want to go to, because I'm letting all these people sway me, go to Cali, go to New York, and I'm not really putting any real lists of pros or cons together. Like, she didn't even do a pro or con list about going one university or other. She's just like, oh, I fell in love. Like, bruh, you need to figure out what you want for yourself and why you want to go to school. Why do you want to go to school? But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like in a way Laura Jean is kind of in the wrong, because like it doesn't make any sense, like her flip-flopping between schools. Like I don't know, it really didn't do anything for Laura Jean's development. It doesn't even make any sense that she doesn't do any of that, because like they say so much about how she's so smart and this and that. Like, how are you this smart and you don't think about why you want to go to school and what criteria you're using to pick your school? Bruh. Laura Jean seems like the kind of person that she knew which college she wanted to go a couple of years ago, and that's why her grades are so good. That's why she has volunteering down, and that's why she's like put herself up for certain things. I think the movie I would have rather watched instead, plot-wise, when it comes to like a conflict that we could see Laura Jean and Peter go through together, I would have rather seen the dynamic between Peter and Laura Jean while Peter really tries to figure out what kind of relationship he wants with his father. That is like great conflict right there, and I think that is something that we haven't really seen from Peter that much. We've barely seen any real dive into Peter's life. We know so much about Laura Jean from just the first movie alone, and even in the second movie. Again, so much of the focus between Laura Jean and Peter is mostly on Laura Jean because she's our main character. Peter almost kind of feels like a side character in their romance, someone who just like messes up from here or there, and someone who we're not really rooting for that much. But I felt like I was rooting for Peter more in this third movie, and I think what would have made it better and made me root for Peter even stronger is seeing more of that trauma and like abandonment issues that he has with his father. I think a lot of people have issues with their parents and their childhood and how they grew up or how they were raised. Like how Peter said with Laura Jean, yeah, she has issues as well because one of her parents have passed. But grief is not the same pain as a parent abandoning you, and we never really see anything from Laura Jean's parents or her dad that would have shown that she wasn't raised well, or that they've really done anything bad to like scar Laura Jean other than the passing of her mom. Like I would love to see the dynamic of parents not parenting well, because that is way more common, I think, than people would really like to believe, or is portrayed in these more softer, more casual, cheesy feeling movies that is geared towards like a teen audience. We see a lot of almost like perfect parents, really understanding parents, and parents are really good. But I feel like we need to see more parents who aren't like demonic. Not a parent or a dad specifically, it seems in the media, that is like beating their kid or stuff like that, or someone who's allowing their child to be abused and stuff like that. But more of the more common woes of maybe a dad not really taking part or a mom not taking part of a child's life, I feel like it would have been more impactful and maybe more compelling and a little less boring if we saw how if we saw more of a conflict between Laura Jean and Peter when it came to what he chooses to do with his relationship with his father and how that affects their relationship. Maybe even to act as a foil as well, we could have seen more of Laura Jean's relationship with her new to be stepmom, or her stepmom now because they got married in the movie. Like, there was this scene where we kind of pass over the fact that Laura Jean almost felt uncomfortable in her own home after she came back from New York because her stepmom Tree had made changes to the house. She felt as if the house was starting to become a bit erased, which I found so funny. And even the older sister as well felt the same thing, like it was such like this big deal that Tree has come into the house now because they're going to be married, so it makes sense for her to move in now, and she's made changes to the house. They felt as if she had erased the touches of their mom in the home. So I felt like that would have been a great foil between Peter and Laura Jean. Laura Jean is getting a new parent in her life, and that's actually kind of making her uncomfortable, that change that she's bringing to her. Not that she dislikes Tree, because she loves Tree and Tree is great to them, as we've seen like a little bit throughout the movie. But like the new dynamic which Tree is bringing to the family home has made her uncomfortable, whereas Peter is struggling with a dynamic that he has never had in his home, and he's struggling with accepting the fact that someone now wants to come into his life who wasn't there before and hasn't always been as loving or caring, or maybe showing like what Tree has given to Laura Jean, this love. He has not got that from his father. So I would have rather seen an argument there between Peter and Laura Jean, telling Laura Jean that you're ridiculous for feeling this way about someone who actually wants to be in your life, has chosen to be a part of your family, and has shown you this love and care, when I'm dealing with this person who never gave that to me and now wants to be a part of my family. If anyone should be uncomfortable, it's me. You know, that kind of, I would have rather seen that. I think that would have been a way better conflict, to really deep dive into Peter and Laura Jean's like ideals or outlooks or perceptions as individual people rather than them as a couple, especially when it comes to a family dynamic, because it's important to see how two people think about family when they are possibly going to start a family together. So why didn't we get that instead of this petty, ooh, where do I go to school bull? Like, I don't care. I just felt as if that was a missed opportunity that was kind of glaring the writers right in the face. You almost put it there. Why didn't you go with it? Or maybe would have that been too deep for this movie series? I'm not sure. Would you have enjoyed to see something like that? Or were you fine with the more casual conflict that the movie already set out? Please tell me in the comments, because I feel like it would have been way better character development for the movie to have delved into Peter and Laura Jean's difference in parenting and their family situation. I also kind of felt that it's ridiculous for Laura Jean and Margaret to complain about the home changing when you're not gonna leave, when one of you doesn't already live there and went as far away as possible. And again, the other one of you is also actually going as far away as she possibly can, but within the United States, within the country. The person who should really get to say how uncomfortable they feel is probably the youngest sister, because she still has to live with the couple for like how many ever years until she goes off to school, and then she gets to start a life of her own. So like, you two complaining about the home, it was just like, it was a bit ridiculous. I understand why they're complaining, because it has to do with their deceased mom, so it's sensitive. But at the end of the day, you weren't gonna be in that home anyway. You're leaving for years. You don't think the house is gonna change after you being like, you think the house is gonna have to change at some point, especially after you leave? But yeah, those are my brief thoughts about the movie. I don't really have much else to say because the movie is not that different. The third movie is not that much different from the first, like 1 and 2. Same kind of vibes, same dialogue, same kind of writing, same toning, same feel. And like I said, I don't think the movie is a bad movie generally when you consider like the writing and the dialogue and the tone and the cinematography or any other things. I just felt that the plot was a bit weak this time around. And I felt like the plot was kind of getting a bit weaker since movie 2. The whole conflict between Peter and Laura Jean because of Jan Ambrose wasn't as boring as the third movie, but it wasn't as great as the first either, in my opinion. And I don't think that in the second movie Laura Jean and Peter's relationship showed that much development. The movies just don't feel as if they've gotten so much greater. Yeah, I just don't have that much to say about To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Always and Forever. It is what it is. It's a rom-com, but not that much calm. It was a pretty chill movie. Maybe don't try to make your boyfriends watch because he's probably not gonna like it. At the end, I barely even cared about Laura Jean and Peter that much. I hope there's not a fourth one. I don't think there's a fourth book. I think there's only 3. And I think they had said before that they're only doing 3 movies. So I think a fourth movie would just be a really bad idea. I just feel like there's not much more you can milk out of the relationship. The relationship seems kind of stale. Like their relationship seems almost kind of tired. Like I want them to be together, but also at the same time, I don't really feel like I have to see it. But yeah, so please tell me, what did you think about the movie? Tell me if you disagreed or agree with anything I said about the movie. Let me know in the comments what else you would like to see from me or my channel. I'm trying to think about different things that I probably would like to do. I don't just want to do movie reviews, so I'm just trying to like think about a game plan about where I see this channel going in the future. But please do let me know if there's anything in particular you would like to see from me or you would like to hear from me talk about, or just any suggestions in general. Please let me know in the comments. Hopefully you guys will stick with my channel always and forever, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
You really make me wanna fly, cross my heart and hope to die.